Simply the best VR experience I've ever had. Welcome everyone to Get Your Game On, the channel dedicated to immersive gaming experiences. I'm Mark Shireman, and today we're going to talk about the new Pimax Super Micro-OLED headset. And this is a headset that I have been waiting for about 7 years, since I stopped using my Vive Pro, which was the last OLED headset that I had. And let me tell you, this headset does not disappoint. I've been using it for several weeks now and a lot of different experiences. For those of you that watch the channel, you know that I also got to try a pre-production unit at the APV Roadshow back at the end of October. But I want to start this video off by talking about the elephant in the room for a lot of you folks. If you watch the channel, you know that a little over a year ago, I had a major falling out with Pimax. I had one of their original crystals, and I had nothing but problems with it, and I could not get any help from customer service. Pimax was, running me around, and I ended up doing a video that basically called out all the problems I was having with Pimax, and I'll throw that video up here if you're interested. You can watch it. But I honestly thought at that point I was going to be done with Pimax. I figured my relationship was over. I certainly wasn't ever going to buy another Pimax headset, and that was it. Now, Pimax reached out to me shortly thereafter and started to explain the situation, what happened. Again, I called them out. I said, "You're just trying to do damage control." And Yap assured me, "No, we see the problems and we're actively trying to fix them." I bring this up because some of you might be wondering how I can go from making a video like that to sitting here now telling you this is the best VR headset that's ever been made and the best VR headset that I've ever used. Well, I'm a firm believer in giving people second chances if I feel like they deserve them. And so after Yap reached out to me and kind of explained the situation, I skeptically was like, well, let me keep an eye on the company and see what happens over the course of the year. And at that point, they knew who I was. So being a famous YouTuber, I knew that my experience from that point forward wasn't going to be representative of the experience a typical consumer would have. So what I did was I actually reached out to all of you. I reached out and asked you, please tell me your experience you're having with Pimax. Please tell me what's going on and share that with me so I can see what's happening to everybody else. And the vast majority of you all responded that Pimax was improving. You told me that they are now reaching back, they are now responding, they are now listening to your concerns, and at the bottom line is they are now helping you. And so with all that being said and everything I was seeing from Yap and all the surveys that were coming out, I realized, okay, well, Pimax seems to have made a change, so I'm willing to give them that second chance that I talked about. And I'm so glad I did, because this headset is a dream come true for me. I would feel so bad if, because I had such a bad experience, that I basically passed on this one. Now, for those of you out there that might be past Pimax customers and you're like, I'm never buying Pimax again, they did me wrong, fool me once, shame on them, fool me twice, shame on me. I totally get that. I can totally understand that point of view, and I was in that camp as well. What I would caution you, however, is think long and hard about it, as far as please don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Yes, Pimax isn't perfect, but they are improving. And there is really no headset that's even close to the experience that this one's giving you. So again, the other companies out there, you're certainly not going to get any better customer service from them. And Pimax really has changed. So that's my spiel. For those of you out there that think, well, they sent him a demo headset, so no wonder he's speaking their praises. Well, feel free to think that. But those of you that know me know that I don't let that stuff influence me, and I'm still going to speak my mind. And if you look on the internet, everybody out there is raving about this headset, and Pimax couldn't have paid them all off. So there might be something to that. It might be worth checking into. So let's go ahead and start talking about the actual experience of using this headset. And let's start off, for those of you that enjoy unboxing videos, I did one for you. So let's take a look at that now. And let's see what we got here. All right, so here we go. Let's just do it this way. All right, we got a nice looking typical Pimax packaging. It's good. It's got the bubble wrap around it. It's outer boxed and inner boxed. So nothing surprising yet. There we go. And there you go, Pimax. Let's see what we got. Okay. It says Pimax again. Let's see. And that one's upside down. All right, there we go. Let's see what this looks like. Yep, there you go. So, see, we got our foam. The Super's been out for a while now, so they've got the shipping and everything kind of figured out. And so again, I don't expect anything surprising here. Got our ringed controllers, just like the other ones. They seem to be, yeah, I mean, Pimax controllers. There you go. And we have, oh, so this is nice. My prescription lenses, so I will be able to get right into the headset without having to mess with contact lenses. Thank you, Pimax. That's fantastic. I appreciate that very much. That makes life a lot easier because contacts in and out can be a pain in the butt. And then the star of the show, here we go. We have the Super. And yeah, she looks good. Got that new VR smell going on. It's great. These will be coming off. These are not the D-mass. I have a set of D-mass that are currently on the crystal. They will be making their way over to here. And let's see, the cable is stuck under it, so all of our paperwork, Pimax info. And I got to give credit to Pimax, since my video where we talked about all the trials and tribulations that they're having, they have absolutely improved the customer service. Not saying it's 100% perfect, but it has gotten better, and they have definitely made an effort. All right, so there we go. So that's pretty much it in the box. Like I said, I didn't expect a whole lot in there. It's not a lot to look at here, and USBs, multi-region adapters for power, the usual power adapter. So this is what you'll slide the proper adapter onto. Just goes in there. And then our cable. So yep, pretty standard Pimax stuff. Nothing surprising. Oh, thank goodness. This whole experience was almost ruined. We almost didn't have, I didn't pull the lens cleaner out. Every good Pimax, or every good VR headset, as you know, must come with a lens cloth. So that's what really tells you it's a high-end VR headset. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we'll just got to get the proper fit here, but not a lot in the box. It's kind of nice. It's small, easier to ship now. There you go. There's your plethora of plugs, and you always know the US because we have holes on the prongs versus just straight blades. So that's that. I'm not going to worry about this. This is just some USB-A to USB-C. I've got plenty of those, so I don't need those. So yeah, that's it. That's the Pimax Super Crystal Micro-OLED. And I cannot wait to get my head in this thing because, as you know, I am an OLED snob. And yeah, I've been waiting for this headset for quite a while. So it's good. Still got the lens protectors. So yeah, we're in good shape. There you go. Make a nice little presentation here. Voila. So once I got this thing unboxed, I couldn't wait to put it on, and boy, was I impressed. Now, I got to try a pre-production unit at the roadshow that was hosted by PV in California at the end of October, and I was thoroughly impressed with it, and I was hoping this headset would follow suit. So let's get into the experience and what I found. So the first thing about this headset was those OLED screens are just outstanding. I am an OLED snob. I love OLED, and I've been waiting for about 7 years since I gave up working with my original Vive Pro, waiting for an OLED headset to come out that just reached my expectations. The Play for Dream came out, and it was really good, but I had some glare issues with it, and also it was wireless and needed a battery, so there were issues there. But this headset is basically everything I've been looking for since back when I gave up OLED. So as soon as I put it on, the things I realized were those micro OLEDs, there's absolutely no Mura. To me, the brightness is perfect. I've always felt that these super QLED screens are overblown and washed out. So this one is exactly what I was looking for as far as brightness and contrast, color representation, absolutely no screen door effect. And what's shocking is with these micro OLED screens from Sony, they actually give you a pretty good field of view. Now, I don't spend a lot of time measuring my field of view and all that stuff because all of us are going to have a different experience based on our face shape and our eye placement and all that stuff. What I typically do when I put a headset on is I can tell right away whether I feel a little claustrophobic, it feels a little tight, or it feels a little short in the vertical. When I put this on, it felt fine. I mean, it wasn't anything extra wide like their ultra wide is, but it definitely felt comfortable. I didn't feel like I was squeezed in anywhere. I didn't feel like I was looking through, toilet paper rolls or anything like that. So the initial impression when I put this in really was jaw-dropping. I was just astounded. Now, the comfort of it is pretty good right out of the box. I actually added the Studio Form Creative. You'll see I've got the Apache head strap, and then I also added the counterweight. The interesting thing about this Super Micro OLED version is it's actually lighter in the front than their other QLED versions because it's using pancake lenses instead of aspheric lenses. So it's actually lighter overall in general. I think the optic engine is 140 grams or something like that. So it's almost half of what the other optical headsets weigh. So by adding these few little things, it just made the comfort go from comfortable to basically being able to wear this for hours and hours on end. I think right now my record on this is about, I think I've been in it 5 hours at a given time, and it didn't get too uncomfortable or anything even with that, with all these extra straps. Now, I love this larger form factor. After getting the Big Screen Beyond 2, I realized micro form factor isn't something that I'm as interested in. I like to have a little weight in my headset, and this one is fantastic. In fact, let's compare it to some of its predecessors. Let's start off by comparing it to the original Crystal Light. So you can see it's considerably smaller than the Crystal Light. And let's go to my other absolute favorite headset, which is the Vario Aero. And this headset I recommended highly when it came out. I absolutely love this headset. It gave me that first experience of edge-to-edge clarity, and I still love this headset. I love the company. I love everything about Vario. But the technology, it's no longer being supported, so a lot of you are looking for replacement. Well, let's look at this. But you can see the new Super Micro OLED is not much bigger than the Vario Aero. Now, the other interesting thing is, I got thinking about it, if you watch my review of the Vario Aero way back when, this headset actually does a lot of the things that I was wishing for on a follow-up Vario Aero 2. For example, that headset has no onboard audio. Well, this one has the onboard DMAS headset. It has built-in microphone, which sounds pretty good according to everybody that I talked to on Discord. They said it sounds fantastic. It has the OLED panels, which I was hoping the Aero would eventually get. And the only thing it doesn't have is I wanted aspheric lenses because pancakes, again, you get a little bit of that reflection and you have real problems with glare. But this one, the glare is surprisingly pretty good. Now, the original headset that I tried at the Roadshow, I saw very minimal glare, like hardly any. What I can tell you is this one that they sent me does have a little more glare. I noticed it was more glare than what I saw at a PV. But the interesting thing is, with their new concave view lens design, that glare is kind of shuffled off to the side of the lenses. You don't get the glare in your face right in the middle of your eyes like you do on all the other headsets. The glare is more just kind of on the edges. And so I think that concave view lens design is really good for minimizing the glare. But yes, there is some glare in this. I hate glare, so it's acceptable to me. I would hope that it would be acceptable for you. So that was one of the things that I noticed. And so hopefully their quality control, we won't get wild discrepancies between headset to headset. But this thing just is a dream, and it's everything that I've been waiting for quite a long time. I was basically looking for a headset that really would fit all the things I wanted for my sim experience. And a big part of that is also the DisplayPort cable. Being able to plug directly into the PC gives you the best visuals that you can get from your video card. So the other thing I can tell you is I've not had a Super before. This is really the first time I've got my hands on a Super. And I had tried a pre-production unit, but I wasn't really impressed with it. But the quality now that Pimax is putting into their headsets is really outstanding. The plastic on Pimax headsets used to be kind of a flimsy, cheap-feeling plastic. Even if you look on the original Crystal Light, like these buttons, you know, they kind of feel a little cheap. There's always been a certain level of cheap quality feel on Pimax headsets, going way back to the early models. This headset, when I pulled it out, the first thing I realized is, man, the plastic on it, it reminded me a lot of the HP G2 Reverb headset that I just thought was fantastic. And I'm really impressed with the quality. If you look inside here, you can see we've got fabric now on the facial gasket instead of just that raw foam. And this finally feels like a premium product, and as it should. I mean, it's definitely not a bargain unit. It should represent the price point that it's at, and I would say this does. The quality in it amazes me, and just everything about this headset has been fantastic. So let's talk about some of the experiences I had in this virtual reality headset. So obviously DCS was one of the first ones that I tried. I absolutely love DCS. And sitting in my F-18, I could read all the gauges. Everything was crystal clear. And then I even tried it at night. So a friend of mine, Jeff Weaver, actually created a DCS mission where it's the Iraq shock and awe campaign that the United States did back in the 90s. And you're flying around, and all the tracer rounds are flying up in the air and everything, and it's nighttime. And that was a treat in this headset. I could look up through the canopy and see the stars. Looking out the gauges, there was no blooming. And then if you looked outside, it was fantastic. You could see the city lights and all that stuff. It was fantastic. Flying helicopters through Las Vegas was cool. You can read all the gauges. It feels like you're in a helicopter. Just an incredible experience. And then I spent a lot of time in Star Citizen. Star Citizen recently released their experimental virtual reality mod. And I have spent probably the most time in this headset in Star Citizen. And keep in mind, Star Citizen isn't optimized for virtual reality. They just came out with that new add-on. And yet I can read all the menus that are typically supposed to be seen on a flat screen in this headset. In fact, with DOF Reality coming out soon with the new H4, I actually did a lot of prototyping of the Sim Racing Studio software to make sure everything was working correctly. And this was the first time I was actually able to stay in the headset and read the desktop as well as if I was sitting at my desk looking at my monitor. It was a real treat. I have never been that comfortable in a virtual reality headset before, where I could actually see all the text and see everything I was looking at, and it wasn't a problem. I actually felt perfectly comfortable running my desktop and adjusting all those things and playing with the software as if I was sitting at my computer desk. So again, that's the first time I've ever seen that kind of clarity out of a virtual reality headset, and it just was a real surprise to me. So nothing's perfect, so let's talk a little bit about some of the negatives of this. When I first put it on, one of the very first things I noticed was I was getting just ever so slight light bleed out of these vents. There's some vents here that are not vents for the actual headset itself, but they're more for your face. And so you can see down here, there's a little vent work here and here. I'm getting just a little bit of light coming through those vents, so I'm probably going to cover those with electrical tape or something because I want to be fully immersed. I hate having any light bleed. The facial interface, I do get a little light bleed from here, but it's not bad. It's just ever so slight. The other thing that you may have heard about is the color shift of these headsets, and there tends to be a slight orange or brown shift out to the edges of the panels. It's pretty minor. I don't really notice it much. It tends to happen about where the binocular overlap drops off, and the binocular overlap on this headset's pretty good. So it's not a big issue. The one thing I've noticed is it really depends on how you're wearing the headset. So if you've got one and you're experiencing a lot of that brown or orange shift, try maybe adjusting the headset a little bit, move those straps a little bit, because I think if you can get this thing fitted a little bit better, that may be mitigated, because I really don't see it hardly at all. So also this cable, it's the standard cable. It's a little heavy, not a problem if you're doing seated experience, but if you're going to do room scale stuff, this cable is definitely a little thick and it's a little stiff. But that is one of the other downsides to it. And then I did see some chromatic aberration in the lenses. Ever so slightly, when you have a really bright menu or something, you're going to see a little chromatic aberration off to the corners. It's definitely not in the center, but it's as you get more out to the edges, there is definitely a little bit of chromatic aberration, but nothing even remotely close to what you would see if you had a spheric lenses. So that's one of the advantages of the Pancakes. So it's really overall a great experience, totally everything I've been looking for. The other bonuses of this headset, it has eye tracking, so that's a built-in feature. These are all the things that we wanted, you know, that we didn't have before. We wanted the eye tracking, which the Crystal Light did not have, so that's in here now. You know, obviously we wanted the DisplayPort cable, which the Play for Dream doesn't have. You don't have to worry about batteries because it's connected the headset directly to the computer. So you don't have to switch your batteries out like you have to with a wireless headset. So this really is Pimax's attempt at a PC VR ultimate virtual reality headset, and I absolutely love it. So that's really the big things that I've noticed about the headset. I love wearing it. I just look forward to getting into it, and it's an experience unlike I've ever seen in virtual reality. Yes, the price is definitely up there, but I think the quality that you're getting from it, the virtual reality experience you're getting from it, all of those things combined justify the price point that Pimax has these at. And, you know, if you think about it, the old Aero, when it came out, this was a $2,000 headset. It didn't even have audio. It didn't have OLED. It didn't have a lot of the expensive things that this headset has. So when you take into account all of those things that this headset has, this didn't. Realistically, it's really, in my opinion, a fair price point. So let's talk about if you are interested in this, but you're not sure this is the one. Well, the other option that Pimax is coming out with is called the Dream Air. And the Dream Air is exactly the same optical stack, but it's in a smaller form factor. And I have tried it, and it's pretty good. It has a little bit smaller field of view. You can't wear glasses in it for sure. That's definitely, it's too small for that. But if you're more interested in a smaller form factor, that Dream Air might be the right headset for you. For me personally, I like having a little bit more weight on my head. I like having the audio option. So this is going to definitely be the one that I'm going with. When Pimax decides that they want this back and I have to send this back to them, I will be spending my own money to purchase my own Super Micro-OLED. For those of you that might already have the Super, I would highly, highly recommend getting the OLED module. That's almost a no-brainer. You've already got the headset. Get this OLED module because, again, the experience is just something that you drop it in and hopefully it'll make your jaw drop just like it did mine. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the new Pimax Super Micro-OLED. Absolutely love this headset. If you're interested in buying one and want to help the channel out, we do have affiliate links down in the description below. They definitely help us out and allow us to continue to make content like this. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you guys have any questions about the headset, please drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. But this is the headset I can see I'll be using for years to come. We're finally at the point where I don't think I'm going to be waiting on a new headset to come out with new technology. I can truly see myself using this headset until it basically wears out. And I'm very excited about that option and that opportunity. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, remember to get your game on.